So this is the last program that we are going to in the part B, that is a leaky bucket algorithm. So the question is, write a program for congestion control using leaky bucket algorithm. The concept is on congestion control. Okay, fine. So let me all join the session. Coming to the concept. So first try to understand what is congestion control algorithm. So what is congestion in network concept? So you people have heard about the terminologies of a network. What is the congestion? Usually in other terms, I would say it is a traffic. So how do we control the number of packets that are entering into the host whenever there is a huge traffic or a huge congestion? The program is a very simple Java program, a class file. I'll forward it immediately after the class so that you can type the program and execute the program into Eclipse and you can show the output into the Google Classroom. So we have many concepts. What is traffic shaping? We use this congestion control algorithm for traffic shaping. So what is the meaning of traffic shaping? Traffic shaping helps to control the congestion. Usually, we need to analyze the rate at which the packets are sent. Clear? That is a clear kind of negotiation. That is at the connection setup time, the sender and the carrier negotiate a traffic pattern. There are two traffic shaping algorithms. So congestion control algorithm is nothing but we use that particular algorithm to shape up the traffic. So meanwhile, so I said two traffic shaping algorithms are there. One is leaky bucket and one is a token bucket algorithm. So I will go with the leaky bucket and overall I'll tell you what is a token bucket. Leaky bucket algorithm used to control the rate in a network. If the bucket is overflows, that is the capacity of the buffer is more, then the packets are discarded. So I'll go with a simple example so that you understand the concept easily. So here is a diagrammatic representation of a leaky bucket. All of you could see here, we have a bucket and we have a capacity of this particular bucket. Water drips out of the hole at a constant rate. For example, if the capacity of this bucket is 1000, so if you send a packet size of 1200, so what might happen? Bucket overflow. It cannot entertain such packet size. So the packet size should be within 1000 or exactly equals to 1000. And there is a constant rate called output rate. Rate at which this output has to be sent from the source. For example, if the bucket size is 1000, if the packet size is exactly 1000, output rate is 200. So 5 times 200 packets could be sent. If it is 900 and the output rate is fixed to 200, the first 4 times 200 packets are sent. And finally, it left with 100 packets with respect to the packet size. So last 100 packet will be sent. Here there are major concept. What is the size of this bucket? Capacity of a size bucket that is being fixed in the program. Output rate, rate at which packet is sent, that is also fixed. Clear? Finally, the concept. If the packet size is more than the bucket capacity, there is simple overflow, and the constant rate at which the packet is sent, that is also being fine. So same terminology has been represented here. Here is a host computer. So this is here is a unregulated flow. So we follow the concept of interface containing a leaky bucket. This bucket holds the packet. The same bucket will make you the unregulated flow into the regulated flow. In the sense, controlling the congestion in the network. This is what the same, I repeat, it enforces a constant output rate regardless of the burstiness of the input. If the packet size is the same size, for example, this is the concept is you have a packet size, bucket size is 1000 and the output rate is also 1000, then one packet is directly sent at a time. So similarly, there is one more congestion algorithms called token bucket algorithm. So let me not go with the token bucket algorithm. So I'll show you the diagrammatic representation what happens in the token bucket algorithm. The packets are being sent in terms of a token. So one token is added to the bucket every delta time. So we use a regulated flow in the case of leaky bucket. In the case of token bucket algorithm, you could say the packets are sent in terms of a tokens. So here is a regulated flow after token concept is being applied. So here is a fixed size tokens. So let us not go more with the theory. I'll switch over to the programming concept. So here you see the flow that is above the bucket is bursty flow. Below the bucket that is dripping of the leak, it is called a fixed flow. This fixed flow is called as output rate. Rate at which the packet is being sent based on the capacity of the bucket. So you could see the analysis of the bursty data before packets flow in from the leaky bucket and after it flows through the, here we would fix the fixed rate data, whereas here we have a bursty data. See, this is the major concept of a leaky bucket. It removes, that is, it processes these packets at the constant rate. Major objective of is leaky bucket algorithm. It shapes bursty traffic into fixed rate traffic by averaging the data rate. If the it will simply drop the packets if the bucket is full. See the token bucket, it uses the concept of token. Each token is removed and discarded per transmitted. Once again, these leaky bucket and token bucket are the concept of the traffic shaping. In order to maintain the regulated average rate of data flow, we use this algorithm to control the congestion. Two types are leaky bucket, token bucket. We control the rate at which the output is transmitted in a network. If the bucket overflows, then the packets are simply discarded. One thing you can analyze in this algorithm, input rate can vary, but the output rate remains constant. What is the meaning? The output rate, that is, if it is fixed to 200 in the program, the rate of output transmitted will be 200 throughout the end of the program. So let me switch over to the program fast. The same concept repeated over here. The algorithm, see the algorithm, initialize the counter to n. Using a for loop, we do initiate this at every tick of clock. This is very important to understand the program, all of you. You need to initialize the counter to n. That is, if the number of how many number of packets you want to send. If it is 3 packets have to send. Of which size? 3 packets. Maybe by using random number, we do generate a different size. If n is greater than the size of the packet, then the packet into the network and decrements the counter size by size of packet. The process is repeated. So let me go with the example so that you understand easily. N equals to 1000. Here are the packets unregulated. So first packet is 200. So 1000 minus 200 is 800. See, this 200 has been deducted. So we have a left out capacity 800. Clear? Now again, n is greater than front of the queue. That is n greater than 400. Yes. Again, 400 is sent. 800 minus 400. 400 is left. So this is just to understand the concept. In fact, while writing the program, we just demonstrate this concept. So the value of n is 400. N is less than front of the queue. Therefore, the procedure is to stop. So we initialize n equals to 100 on another tick of the clock. This is with respect to the procedure of leaky bucket. But in the case of our program, what do we do is, You need to enter the number of packets. Clear? You need to enter the number of packets. Imagine number of packets is 3. Once you enter the number of packets 3, there are 3 packets of different size. Enter the packet 1 size. If you enter 300, the output rate is 100. So first 100 is being sent, deducted with 300 minus 100, left with 200. Again, one more 100 is sent. Since the packet size is 300, last left out 100 bytes again is sent directly. So we have selected number of packets is 3. Again, the loop repeats. Enter the packet size to 1024. As in the beginning of the class I said, the bucket sizes capacity is 1000. So beyond 1000 is a bucket overflow. Simply it does that. Since the packet size is greater than 1000, simply bucket overflow. Again, the next, since the number of packets is selected is 3, third packet it will come. So you have to enter, you have entered 212. This is the packet size. The output rate is 100. 100 bytes of the packet is sent. Next 212 minus 100 is 112. Again, next 100 bytes of the packet is sent. Finally, left with the 12 bytes. 12 bytes are simply sent. So this is a very simple demonstration. How do you input the data to this leaky bucket algorithm? So let me go to the program. Those who execute the program first understand the concept. We write a program in Java. As you could see here in the initialization, first let me go to the main function. So defined with the arguments, public static void main, initialize the arguments. Yes. Initialize the scanner, new scanner, system.in. Enter the number of packets. I have shown you the output. You enter 3 number of packets you want to send of different size. Clear? I entered 3. Number of packets is 3. Initialize the scanner here to the number of packets. So our program will work only if the number of packets is greater than 0. If not, that is if you enter the input number of packets to be sent 0, no packets to be sent. So it should be greater than 1. Minimum 1 packet has to be sent. So in our case, we have taken number of packets to be sent is 3. So we were into the main function. If the number of packets is greater than 0, so as I said, we need to report the for loop for individual case of the packet. So this for loop will be repeated 3 times. For the first packet, int I equals to 1, I less than equals to 3. The number of packets is 3 for the output that I have shown you. So I less than equals to 3, what do? You create a random number, new random. Clear? For individual number of packets, you need to follow this procedure. You enter the number of packets over here. So randomly a number would be generated. Try to understand here. That random number will be stored in R. This is a random function generator. For example, this is a automatically random number. Maybe it is for our case 300. That will be stored here. So same this random number, enter the packet size, that will be displayed. And what is this send packet size? So we have defined the packet size at the initialization. That is the output rate, 100. The bucket capacity is 1000. So now you can see the class file in the leaky. What is send packets? If the packet size is greater than the packet size, I said it is simply bucket overflow. That is for the case 1024, case number 2. 1024 is greater than 1000. What happens is bucket overflow. Else, what should be done? If the packet size is greater than the output rate, so what will be done? Packet size minus the output rate is calculated. For example, in the last case, 212. Maybe 212 is a random number that is being generated. So output rate is 100. 100 bytes are sent. Once 100 bytes are sent, you left the packet size 112. Again, next output rate is 100. 100 bytes of packet is sent. You left with 12. Whether is 12, what is the present size of the packet? 12. Whether 12 is greater than 100? No. So the output rate is greater than 12. In that case, 12 is simply sent. So that is what here it has been explained here. Clear? Packet size minus the output rate. Output rate is fixed throughout the program. Throughout the end of the program, packet size is same. This is for the last 12, the case 3, the 12 bytes of the packet is sent. For this case, we have written that is in the case the packet size is less than the output rate. Because in the individual case, what we have is, as I shown, like this, n equals to 100. This may be a random number. So n equals to 100 minus 200. Here, maybe we don't have a fixed output rate. Now the packet size is 800. 800 is greater than the output rate. Here he has considered 400. If it is a 200, then 800 is greater. Again, it does the minus. So this is all about the concept of a leaky bucket. What happens is, this is randomly generated. This is randomly generated. And this is randomly generated. And also this number of bytes to be sent, it is being calculated by doing minus with the packet size. So coming to the main function, you could see if the number of packets is greater than 0, for individual case, that is the packet number 1, I equals to 1, case number 1. For this case of 300, this loop will execute. So you call the send packet size. What does the send packet size does? Send packet size does the calculations, that is it minuses the output rate with the given packet size and calculates the new packet size. Now you could see here in the case of whether packet size 300 is greater than bucket size, no. So there is no bucket overflow. I'm talking about the first case. Whether the packet size is greater than output rate, yes, output rate is 200, packet size is 300. Yes, again you calculate system.out.println, what is this? Output rate. 200 bytes of packet is sent. First you get it. Then you need to calculate the new packet size. What is the new packet size? 300 minus, right? 100. Again 200 is the new packet size. Again it is a while loop. Again 200 greater than the output rate, that is 100. Yes. So what happens now? 100 output, that is output rate is 100, bytes of packet is sent. You consider the third case, that is 212. In this case, first 2 bytes are sent. That is being executed in this while loop. $212 is greater than 100 output rate, that is. So first 100 bytes are sent. Next 100 bytes are sent. Then what happens? Whether the packet size left with 12 is not greater than 100. So again, it will simply catch the exception here and 12 bytes of the packet is sent. So execute this program. I'll just forward you the program as of now. And you execute this program in Eclipse and you can give the output snapshot onto the Google Classroom as procedure. So I have not shown you the execution. So maybe you try the execution with this program, and if you have any queries, you can communicate. So I'll forward you the program. So you can put the attendance, those who have not put the attendance on the screen, chat session. So I'll forward you this lab manual along with the one different program tried out on Eclipse. Try to execute the both, and whichever you find it easy, you can follow it. So this is a program, one more program. So maybe we have not defined the output rate. So let me end the session. I'll forward you the program. So now you have a time, you sit on the laptop or a system and execute this program in Eclipse and post the output into the Google Classroom. Thank you.